What's up, man? 25 gamers. I wanted to bring you a quick little money play out of the Minnesota Playbook here. This is a play I've been messing around with the last couple days, and I feel like it's good enough to share with you. But what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going over a play out of the gun empty bunch. And I really like this formation. We started out this season, the guys over at Madden, SGibs, and ZFarlz put out their ebook, and they discussed the empty bunch and as why it was one of the best formations in the game. And I feel like since the launch, we've gotten into all these other formations, such as the I-form twins from the Saints book with the Saints halfback power, or the shotgun tray open, shotgun buck sweep, or maybe the pistol trip strong power, all these other quote-unquote money plays. And what I really like about the gun empty bunch is everything kind of flows really well together, and it kind of goes perfect with our strategy for working off of the constraint theory and having plays that use the same kind of motions and go different ways. And another thing that's really strong about the gun empty bunch is that, number one, it provides a very good use of a mobile quarterback, so that's why it's very good for the Bengals. Number two, it provides good use of a tight end, which is something that the Arizona playbook, in my opinion, doesn't personally have, in that the strength of the Arizona playbook is the 4 wide receiver formations. And so we want to use teams like Green Bay, but Green Bay may not have the defense or running back strength that we like. And so that's why something like a 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set, such as the gun empty bunch, opens up a lot of more possibilities for you. Now, I would say a mobile quarterback is really not 100% necessary to run the scheme, but it does make the scheme even more deadly, and that's why I would recommend it for like a team like the 49ers, the Seahawks. Obviously, if you don't want to use those top-tier teams, you may consider using the Cincinnati Bengals. Another team that I really would like to use this offense with is the Oakland Raiders. But there are several teams that you can use that has mobile quarterbacks. As far as a offense where you don't have a mobile quarterback and you really want to be very versatile, you could actually still use this formation. But I would recommend something like potentially the Atlanta playbook or even the Houston playbook, maybe a little bit more towards your strength. But anyway, let's hop into this money play that I want to break down today. Now, this is going to beat both man and zone coverage. And the play that we're going to be taking a look at here today is the shotgun bunch out. And if you see here on the right side, we have basically a levels concept, and on the left side we're going to make some adjustments, and we're basically going to be using this similar to the way that we use our wide receiver shallow, or not our wide receiver shallow, but our San Diego post trail that we broke down in the last video out of the Arizona playbook. Alright, so we also like to flip the formation. Real quick note, you just want to hit R2 before you come out to flip it, and this is going to put the bunch on the left side. We could start using some really good motion snaps. And the only adjustment I make on this play is I put the far left slot receiver, so Marvin Jones here, I'll put him on a drag route. And I'm going to motion him to the left 3 steps. And on his 4th step, I'm going to snap the ball. So 1, 2, 3, 4, snap. And you see he gets a very good route that really roasts the defender. That drag route with the motion snap has been around for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons here since Madden 13. And it does a very good job at beating man coverage. Now, one quick note about this route. If you throw it, when he's on the left side on the line of scrimmage and you pass lead it up, you'll see that he gets that dive animation. When you specifically and only when you pass lead up, and it's only on the left side of the formation. So you can wait a little bit longer, pass it, and throw it when he gets past the center. So here I'm going to wait, throw it when he passes the center, and I pass it up, and you see it works perfectly. A lot more yardage. Another thing that you might potentially do is only pass lead it to the right. So, for example, at 3 o'clock specifically. But even then, you run the risk of getting that dive. So what I would recommend doing is waiting just a little bit till he passes that guard and then pass leading it up. And you see I don't get that dive animation, and now I can get upfield with my receiver. That's just something really important to note, because it is potentially the difference between a first down and a 3rd down or 4th down situation. Okay? Now, the first read on this play, specifically for that reason we just discussed, therefore is not going to be square. It's going to be Bernard's route. And Bernard's route is going to also beat man. So we're going to read him first, and you see it's going to beat man with pass lead to the outside. Okay? Then secondly, we're going to go to that drag for Jones. So wait till he gets over here and then pass lead that up, and you see we got a lot more of an effective route. Also, guys, if you want to make Jones the first read, if you're just sold on that drag, then if you just use no pass lead, You see it does a fine job, but again, you do run the risk of getting tackled by defensive linemen. You run the risk of really not gaining any yards at all, and sometimes you still even run the risk of getting that dive animation. So I would just all around note that you want to make him your second read for that purpose, and make Bernard your first read on that out route. And the reason we like Bernard's route is because it's a quick pass. Just wait till it kind of cuts to the outside, and it has potential for very big yard gains. Okay, our third read now is going to be Avell Hawkins on his deep in route, passing down into the inside, and you see it does a fairly decent job at beating man. Now, I will quickly note that if you're specifically facing two man under, those in routes are not always the best thing for beating man, as you see right there to AJ Green, who is our fourth read, by the way. And the reason they don't always do the best job is because they're angled, whereas if they were just a regular in route, they do a better job. But they serve a lot better for us when we face like cover 2, cover 3, etc. And so that's why I like to leave them on the field. And sometimes they'll beat man. But again, I would say overall, as a whole, I wouldn't throw those in routes against man coverage for those reasons, as I said just a second ago. So therefore, I would say that your last read, Gresham here, is a lot better of a route against man coverage. But you do need to click on and make the user catch. Now, the power of this play, and this is why I wanted to quickly understand, if you understand the power of that drag route, man coverage shouldn't be a problem for you. Because between the drag route and the in route, they both go completely opposite directions, and they both toast man coverage. So this is not really a man beater. Those are our only two man beaters on this play that I would say completely destroy man. And if you have routes that completely destroy man, then you can start transitioning to beating zone. So let's move on to a cover 2. So cover 2 on this play, we're going to want to work that level side. And you see triangle is going to get open against cover 2. Okay, now that's not to say that the routes on the left side will not get open against cover 2. I'm just trying to kind of speed through a little bit. But you see that drag, it still gets open. But it's not as good of a yard gain. You're only getting 2 yards. Whereas before we were getting, 7 or 8. So what about a cover 2 sink? Well, the cover 2 sink is the same exact principle. Avell Hawkins route with those levels, the levels concept that we're so kind of keen on this year, at least I personally am, that route will also beat the cover 2 sink. Now, say for example your opponent, I want to show an example after this, but your opponent maybe wants to do the YY cushion coverage technique, or they just user control that route so that Avell Hawkins route is no longer open. Well, if Avell Hawkins route is covered, then it's a 99% chance, and I think it was in man coverage, my apologies there, but it's a 99% chance that if Avell Hawkins route is covered in a cover 2 type defense, then AJ Green's route going to be open underneath. And that's why we like to have routes that work off each other like that, and it's very important in my opinion. So now that we're beating the cover 2 all around, let's try to take a look at the cover 3 defense and see if it can do any better. What I really like about the cover 3 is that X route to Gresham when it cuts to the outside is very effective. Because of the same reason, something like a curl flat is very effective as well. Because the cover 2 shell that the defense is in at that point. And so if they're in a cover 4, you can easily, you don't want to hit Hawkins, as you saw there, because that deep blue comes down. But you might want to hit Jones cutting across, because those zones will be pulled, and there's Jones, and we have yardage to get. So this is just one little play out of a formation that has a lot of interesting plays. You have this read option that's really effective. It's not as effective at practice mode as it is in real game, and I will just make that note. You also have a play action off the read option. All kinds of good plays out of this gun empty bunch, and I encourage you guys to try it out and see if this formation may be something that you can use to better your game in Madden 25. Thank you guys so much for your time, and we will be back tomorrow with another Madden 25 tip.